Hi guys, good morning. Welcome back. Sound check 1 2. Sound check 1 2. Welcome back, guys. It's been a long holiday. Before we start, let me do some system check, sound check, everything. How are you guys doing? Everyone good? Three races. We have Chinese. The main population would be Malay, and we have minority, which is Indian. And usually, every year we have the privilege, we're fortunate enough to celebrate different kind of festive season together. So we have like Chinese New Year, um, you know, we have Chinese New Year, um, we have just a moment, like good morning, good morning. Right, let me do some system check before we start, okay? Okay, back to normal.
I heard a voice crying in the wilderness. I heard a voice crying in the wilderness. I heard a voice crying in the wilderness. I heard a voice crying in the wilderness.
Hello guys, welcome back. Now before we start, let me do some, system tracking. Okay. Some small technical glitches for the connection from TradingView. All right, got it.
Crying in
All
the
right,
wilderness.
so let's take a good look in the gold market. It's been a while since we traded the market.
Crying in the wilderness.
Right, got it.
I heard a voice crying in the wilderness.
Okay, guys, so if you guys are new to the live stream, welcome back. My name is CG. We are RX Academy. So it's gonna be me, Pram, and Alan. We're gonna do like live stream every day from Monday to Friday. So for the morning shift, it would be me, 10 a.m. to 12 p.m., around that, where I'm going to do the Asian market, which is I'm going to do the Asian opening market analysis with you guys. So we might have some changes for upcoming schedule. So I will definitely let you guys know if the schedule has been changed, okay? But before that, you know, welcome. If you're new to our channel, we are actually RX Academy where we provide not only trading signals but also, educating you, real life analysis, showing you how, a professional retail trader actually trade the market together. So usually my style, is different than Alan's style and Pram. So you can check out my vibe. If you can learn everything from me, feel free to continue. If you don't, if you feel that you want something that is much more suitable to you, such as, maybe like swing trading, more technical vibe, you can go for like Alan class. But for me, I am highly, highly inspired and trade in a way that is influenced by auction market theory. All right, so without further ado, let's go back. Let's get into the market and see, what's going on right now. Okay. Usually I'll start with a daily time frame. Let's see, what is the current price going. So honestly speaking, really interesting, right? The gold is really being affected by the war, the US-Iran war, you see. Price has been, dropping. Current, it is actually in 4,365. So 4.3K, that's pretty damn low, to be honest. So the question is not about, which direction it's going to be. It's about what kind of market state we're going to trade in. So the very first question for me is that I want to understand from an auction market point of view, what kind of market is it currently trading? So that is my main concern. So before we do any trade, the every time what I do is I try to understand the state, the momentum, etc. So let's start from visually seeing what is the market state. Obviously, there has been a drop right here, a very sudden drop of the price all the way down here, and we'll take a good look. So what I'm trying to do is to understand the footprint of the previous auction is being held. So I stretch it all the way from here, which is 29th of January 2026, Thursday, all the way, the highest swings to the lowest swing, which is 23rd of March. So few months, I want to understand, where is the previous, highest trade that is going on. Currently, the price is traveling here, which is in a very low volume node, honestly speaking. Hmm. Still have signs of distribution power, being distributed by the seller side. See, it's kind of obvious, right? There's a level here. 1, 2, 3. Kind of obvious. We found ourselves an entry. Okay. So for gold, I'm looking for a sell. Obviously the momentum of the seller side is still very strong. So I'm going to give you my hypothesis. We start from 4 hours, okay? So obviously, if you take a look at the 4 hours, well, we don't have to make it too complex. Obviously, the entire flow of the structure is currently in a bearish kind of momentum. And then we zoom in, and then you want to see, is the seller still strong? So now the only place where the buyer actually show, some rejection is right here, this big candle, pushing back up to the momentum. But it seems to me that the seller is currently not really in a good position. Buyer is not in a good position because it still has a very strong signs of distribution power right here being shown from the seller side, which is the opponent of the buyer. And if we go into the 1 hour, you can see based on the small little detail, based on the structure here, you can see, lower lows is being formed. So, and as you can see, even though the point of control is at this place, it's more reasonable for me to do a sell trade based on the structure that we see right here. So for me, I'm going for a sell position. And before I plan for the sell position, let me zoom in a little bit more to have a double confirmation. So yes, we do have, signs of, you know, distribution power, even though that the bias seems like it is strong, but still it is not that strong. You see, it is being pushed back down to form, a lower lows. So for me, yes, I would say would be a good position to go in. But more importantly, we need to understand that where should we put our stop loss, right? Because every trade before you entry, you need to plan for your exit as well. So the hypothesis is simple. So let me go in here, short position. So let's say we go in right now. I wouldn't say that it is a good timing yet. Okay, if we enter right now, let's say where would be the only reasonable stop loss. Okay, so we're talking about, the feel of the structure. So the first question I need to ask myself is that, is the structure being broken? So if you take a look at the detail, the structure seems like it's being broken right here already. So I'm going to be skeptical for that one. So the really nice entry for this particular trade, it is not here. It is actually when the price, went from here and then it pushes and touches this zone right here, this key level, and then it goes back down. Okay. Well, maybe not like immediately, but like when it touches here and then it touches maybe like two, twice, three times. Again, we'll see how it responds. If it cannot break through the ceiling for this one, then I would be, having this hypothesis that the price, is still very strong for the seller side, and I will do a sell trade going all the way down. Okay, so right now it's not a really good entry yet because it might be penetrate going all the way down here. So for me, I'm going for a sell trade for gold, for this price, but I will only enter the trade if the price touches this zone. Okay, so the price of entry would be 4379, okay, which is a sell trade. 4379 would be the place that I do a sell trade. So if it didn't touch us here, I wouldn't go in. So I put my entry around this place. Okay, and then my stop loss. Okay, I will actually put a higher stop loss. I am fine for that. Okay, I will use this zone right here as a stop loss, holding a longer position, and this one I will aim for a long run, around here. Okay, so for this particular entry, I will go for this one. So let's go to the 15 minutes and see. Yep. So for this particular strategy, I would use the 15 minutes time frame execution because it is more revealing and it is more, proper for this hypothesis, right? So that I can have more time to react, to respond to the current, price action. So for me, this would be the setup. Okay, I wanted to, test a few times of this one. So until the price touches and tests this level, I won't be doing anything. All right. So a high probability trade would be here. Okay. So let me note it down. Yep, around this level. If it broke this level, then I would consider, the hypothesis is broken. This entire structure is broken. So yeah, it's fine for me. But without that, I would really try, before it broke this structure, I would actually place a hypothesis of it would be going down. And I would aim for, the price keep on going down. So one last thing before we, you know, really try to understand, really put this straight, go back to the 1 hour and take a good look. You see, even though that the buyer is having a strong sense of accumulation power, but still it is being slowly, pushed down by the seller side, slowly, right? And this is what we see, I would consider that the entire trend of bearish trend from the seller side is still valid. Okay, I would ride the wave and make some profit for this one. Okay, so gold, we're looking at sell and get back to 15 minutes. A high probability entry is not now. Okay, if you enter now, it would not be worth it because if you enter the trade right now, it will actually come back here and test this level, and this might be, a better entry. So don't go in right now because if you go in right now, it is actually like 50-50. But if you go in, at least wait until this level, which is 4379, then I would say the probability is with us, so we can, make some nice profit together. So yeah, that is my basic setup for gold. So after gold, we can go to, try to analyze other market as well. But right now, gold, don't do anything, not until the price retests 4379. Okay, not until the price retest for 379. Don't do anything before that, okay? So I make it a thick line. Okay, so this would be the entry. This green line right here would be the entry, okay? This green line would be the entry. Okay, so don't do anything before it touches 4379. All right, so there you go. For goal setup, we have it. Now move on next. Let's try to see how Japanese yen is doing. So usually when the price is dropping for Japanese yen, if it reaches a certain kind of point, maybe like 30, like 10, 10 to 30% kind of difference. So what happened is that the Japanese government will come in and try to interfere to protect their currency, their economy. So what we are doing right now is to really take a good look. How is Japanese yen doing? A lot of friend is traveling to Japan, in Malaysia, Singapore, I believe, because recently the Japanese yen is really dropping down, and it is a really good time, even though that it is bad for war, but still, it is a very good time to go to Japan and travel. Sorry to say, but it's really hard to resist, all those really delicious sushi. Okay, got it. So current price 158,658. We can spot from the daily time frame. There's some signs of downtrend, small little signs of downtrend, lower lows forming. So is the buyer weakening? Yeah, I still remember like a week ago when we trade the UJ. We did forecast that the buyer is actually weakening, and it's really good. After a few weeks, we really can see that the buyer is actually weakening. At least there are some minor signs that is getting more and more obvious right here. So I do have a good sense that the seller is still very strong for Japanese yen. So the next question would be, should we vote for him? Should we sell, right? So let's take a closer look. Michael Tan say, Engawa is my favorite thing to eat in Japanese food. Yeah, Michael. Engawa, the fatty, that the oil, the fish oil from the Engawa. Ooh, delicious. I still remember the first time when I had my very first omakase, and it is called Oribe, in Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia. So it's around, KLCC. And that is the first time that I try Oribe. So it is pricey. Back in those days, I still not very profitable, not as successful as I am today. So my girlfriend, wife right now, girlfriend back then, treat me for a birthday dinner. So I still remember the very first time I have that piece of Engawa sushi. And the chef actually named the Engawa, oh my god, fish, right? Because when you eat it, the umami kick really like boom. You can really feel the taste, the umami flavor from the Engawa fish. It is extremely tasty, extremely tasty. So yeah, Michael, Engawa, oh, very nice. I have friends that are big fan of Engawa fish as well. And how they eat it is that they bought it online, and then they cook a bowl of rice, and they put Engawa on top of the rice, and then they burn it, right? They use the torch and they torch it. They torch until all the oil actually, spread and sink through the entire rice, and then they eat it like that, right? So it is, oh, so tasty. So Michael, if you're a fan of Engawa, you're a fan of food. It's always good to be friends with food love. So let's pause for some level, some key level here. So the method that I'm using for charting is called key level trading. So it is not as complex as it sounds. So key level means that the level that where most of the trades is being positioned. So for me, the very first technique that I learned is from a Dubai trader named Thomas Kralo. He is extremely good in Russian indexes, and I registered for his course, and he taught me the key level trading style, which is when you do the charting, try to spot for key level. You know, try to spot for reaction that is kind of obvious. All these are key level. You can see these are key level as well. So we can see it is not that difficult to spot it, but it's gonna take you some practice. So we do have a key level here. Okay. So, okay, let me see. So right here, it seems like there's a balance. So I want to see, how strong is the balance. So based on the movement, most of the price is being traded around here. So currently we are in the POC, almost the same as the level. So right now we know that, the current price is trading in, a very high volume node right here. So this area is actually a lot of trade is being done right here. So the closest structure that I'm going to use for reference is actually here. Signs of accumulation power. So we have two levels that need to pay attention on. Okay, number one is this one, and number two would be here. Okay. Okay, so for this trade is, well, surprisingly simple. It is not that complex for us to trade. So basically, we are asking ourselves two questions. First question is, how is the buyer doing, right? What is the buyer doing? So the buyer is actually accumulating buying power, absorbing all the selling power from this momentum here. Okay. And the next question would be, how is the buyer doing, for this particular act? So as far as I see, based on this signal, and also signs of this signal as well, I can see that the buyer is not really as strong as it looks. Okay, so for me, I'm still voting for seller, even though that there's actually signs of buying power being accumulated. But still, for this particular entry, I would use this one. I'm going to go for a sell trade for this particular entry. And the entry is going to be simple. I would wait for the price to actually go from here, to break through this structure. And if it break through, I'm going to see how the price react. Okay, if the price reacted, being pushed down like this, okay, if it being pushed down like this few times, I will go for a sell, but the buy trade is not that favorable. Okay, because if I go for buy, I might reach to another new point here, which is another resistance point, another key level, and then I'm gonna be hit and then come down. So doing a buy trade now is not as favorable as doing a sell trade, because if I do a sell trade, I have more room to make money. So that is why for this particular trade, I am actually leaning towards a selling bias as well. So for me, I'm going to go for a sell trade because I have plenty of room to make money for a short position here. So the structure for stop loss is actually pretty simple. I'm going to use like a 15 minutes, 15 pips stop loss. And I'm going to aim for, at least 1 to 2 around like, yeah, aim for like a 30 pips would be good. So this would be my particular trade for UJ. Okay, I'm leaning towards sell as well, but I need some confirmation. I needed to really test it a few times from here. So it goes, if it tests it, if it's being pulled down a few times, and it needs to give me and prove to me that selling power is still strong, and I will actually take a sell trade until it hits my take profit. Okay, so guys, if you understand the setup for UJ, click yes in the chat box. Okay, if you understand it, click yes in the chat box. So this is, the entry would be 158705. Okay, 158705 would be the high probability entry for this particular trade. Okay, we're gonna make money here. So for this particular trade as well, same thing. All right, guys. So I'm gonna be right back. A quick toilet break, 5 minutes. So wait for a while, sit back, relax, and chill. Okay, maybe have a chat in the chat box as well. Okay, so I'm back. So currently gold is still floating with that price range. It didn't actually touches my entry yet. So if it reaches my entry, I will go in. But I will first, not that if it reach my entry, I will go in. If it reach my entry, I will see how it reacts. Okay, the reaction that I'm looking for is, a few retests, few touches here for this particular level. Okay, a few touches. I'll see, if it didn't really penetrate to this level, I will go down right here, do a sell trade. But before that, don't go in right now because it might end up being a false break and then, break this entire structure all at once. So it is not really in our favor yet. Okay, it is not in our favor yet. If you go in now, it's not worth it. Okay, so for UJ, let's take a look. Same thing as well, almost the same logic and reasoning for gold and US dollar. We gotta wait. So while we're waiting, let's not waste time. Take a good look at a few more currencies to see if we have any like potential entry, okay? Have a clean structure. Signs of accumulation. Go to 1 hour. Forming a true break, potential true break here. Okay. Potential true break going on. nice, good reaction. Well, guys, we might have a potential buy trade. Let's see how it goes. Um, hmm. Low volume note. All right, for ourselves an entry. Okay, cool. So for US dollar, CHF, Swiss franc, I'm looking for a potential buy trade. So I'm gonna go for long for this particular trade. So the reasoning behind is simple. I'm thinking that this break, buying accumulation power from the buyer side would be valid, based on the structure that I see. First structure that is kind of obvious would be, this form of compression that is forming. So when there's a compression, it means that buyer is actually forming, it's actually accumulating buying power. And the second signal would be, this zone right here, which is in the point of control, where it is much more respected by the price action itself, where the price usually will come here and retest this price range of point of control. And the third signal would be this, you see, pink color rectangle that I draw here. This is what we call LVN, low volume node. And when there's a low volume node right above or right below, the price action, it has a very, very, very high probability that it will penetrate, it will actually go all the way here and penetrate through to form a new level, maybe here. So when there's signal like this, I can only make a hypothesis where, as an intraday trader, I will only make a hypothesis where, doing a buy trade is much more valid for this point. So yeah, currently, we are at a potential entry for the buy trade. So let me take a closer look. 5 minutes. You see, buyer is actually defending very, very stably. It is defending and defending few times, even though that seller is trying to push it down, but still buying power is still very strong. So for US dollar CHF, yes, I would go in for a trade, and I don't have to wait. Right now, it's actually a really good chance for us to go in for a buy trade. So for this particular trade, I'm going in. I'm gonna plan my stop loss, going in probably here. So the most important part is where you're gonna set your stop loss, right? So for me, the stop loss, I'm gonna do like around, this is too tight. Yeah, I'm gonna use this, around like this structure as stop loss. Okay, so if it break this structure, I'm not gonna go in, and I'm gonna aim for like at least 1 to 3 asymmetric profit. Okay, this would be a good aim. All right, so this would be actually a really nice entry for us. Okay, So it touches, right now it is doing its thing. So for me right now, I won't go in yet. I want it to come back down and test this level again. So a really nice entry would be somewhere around here. Okay, definitely not here. Okay, definitely not here. Don't go in right now. So this would be, yep, this would be a better entry. Okay, so we let it, do its thing. Um, Honestly speaking, um, this would be a really nice entry. Few reasons because, you know, the buyer has already proven its momentum. Signs of accumulation, buying power still very strong from the buyer side. So right now, the seller, even though that it is having this signs of compression, but still I believe that the buyers still have a lot of juice behind to push it through. So the next thing would be if I were to do a buy trade right now in Swiss franc, the thing would be where is the nice entry? Definitely not now. Now it's already being reacting, and I don't want to go in a trade that is low probability. I want a high probability trade. So for me, I would only do it here. Okay, I want the price, to come back to this level, test it a few times, and I'll see, is it valid or not to take another trade. So right now, don't go in. Not a really nice timing right now. Always wait. Okay, don't go in like you're a gambler. Don't go in feel like you're in a rush. Okay, if you go into the market feel like, FOMO, you feel like you're missing out something else, then you're already in a very bad psychology and mental state to go in. So you see, even though that I'm doing a buy, uh, a buying position hypothesis, still I allow myself to have some breathing room and space for me to think, relax, and chill. Because if you don't wait and you want to like click the buy immediately, you are actually forcing yourself a trade. And you ask yourself a very honest question. When you want to click the button buy and sell, how do you feel? Do you feel chill or do you feel super excited? Because if you feel super excited and you feel that you have the urge and keen to click that button right away, you are already in a very bad mental state to do trading. So for me, even though that I'm having I want to do a buy trade, but still I want to see how does the market actually react to my hypothesis. All right. So my hypothesis is buyer is still very strong, and I want to see buyer give me more proof. Right now, I still have a good reason to wait because you see, there's actually lower lows is being formed. So I might be, the hypothesis might be wrong, right? It might be, the seller is actually regaining the power of distribution. So it is fine to wait, you see, even though that I already make up my mind that I'm going to do a buy trade, but still it is good to wait. So let's get back to gold and see how the market react. Taking off. Okay, so for gold, another good entry would be this. Okay, we go into the 5 minutes and we will see how the market actually react to this particular level. Okay, so if the price come here and then it tests a few times without penetrating through it, I want you guys to stand by because here would also be a good zone to do a sell as well. All right, so in order for me to do a nice entry, let's just wait for a while and see how does the market react. Okay, so this is a second best entry. Of course, your reaction need to be faster if you're using M5 for your execution. So for this particular trade, okay, so this would be a good trade as well. So for gold, we can wait for this reaction, okay? This one. So UJ, same thing, patience. Still not strong enough, still not strong enough to show me seller is still in charge. Okay. The only place where seller can show me that they are still strong is this line, not here. Here is the middle ground. Here is the battleground. Okay, the battleground don't go in. Okay, so we have like gold, 5 minutes. Another few more candles to travel. All right, Australian US dollar. So while we're waiting for, the price to react, we go into another market and give it a go. Okay. So for Australian US dollar, I am gonna wait for a potential true break. Um, so I think it would be great for me to do, a true break hypothesis because I have plenty of room to make money. If I got it right, guys, it means that we have plenty of room to make money right here. But if I got it wrong, I just lose a little. Okay, so that's part of the game plan. So the first thing would be, how reliable is this signal? You see, the thing about this trade, if the true break is being, broken, it will probably, come back here and retest it in this price. Okay, because right here, it is what we call HVN, okay, high volume node. So right here is HVN, and right here is POC. Okay, POC is here. So if the structure is broken, if this structure is broken, it will climb the way back here and come here. Okay, but based on the structure that is really happening right now, the distribution power is still very strong, from the seller side. So for me, it is only reasonable to do a sell trade based on the structure and the momentum that I see in Australian US dollar. So it is very simple. If I want to do a trade now, yes, but the first break is not valid. I need it to test a few times, just like how I say, early on. Okay, so this is actually not a good level. What I want is a level that's like this. Okay, it forms a true break, and then it didn't penetrate through this structure, and then yes, we can do a sell. So a good entry would be here. This would be a nice entry. Okay, for Australian US dollar. Not here, definitely not here. So for me, I'm gonna do like a sell here, and I'm gonna plan if I'm wrong, when will I be wrong, right? So I would use this as a reference for me being wrong because I'm aiming for a true break. So yeah, since you're doing a true break, why not aim longer, right? So I'm gonna do like a 7 pip stop loss. Perhaps, I can aim for higher, it's fine. 10 pip stop loss is fine. Okay, a 10 pip stop loss, and then aim for 22 pips. Aim for like, yeah, 20 pips for this particular trade. Okay, but I need to wait until it reaches this point. If it didn't reach this point, it's very hard for me to do a judgment right now because based on what you see previously, the price actually is being rejected. So the real true break is still in the formation. Okay, it is still forming a true break, but definitely not now yet. So I'm aiming for, you know, movement like this one. I'm trying to profit from this kind of movement. Okay, I'm trying to profit from this kind of movement. Okay, so in order for me to do it again, to really try to profit from this kind of movement, I need to have some confirmation before that. Okay, you see, just like this is what's happening right now. Well, for today, it seems like many of our trade, need require some patience. Same goes to gold. See, still reacting, still waiting. Same goes to Australian US dollar. Definitely not going in here. Okay, it's not a safe true break to enter right now, honestly speaking. Because if you go in now, you might be stopped up here. And as for this particular structure, same thing also. Need to wait. And for this one, yep, same thing. So Cashby asks, should I put sell limit order for Australian US dollar? No, I don't think so. You should not put sell limit order for Australian US dollar. The reason is that if you put sell limit, you put sell limit, it means that you are already assuming that the price is going to be sell. The reason why I don't use sell limit for my strategy is because that I want to see the reaction. If you don't have any reaction here, if you didn't see any reaction here, you want to see the reaction, maybe like a few reaction before you make a decision. So if you do a sell limit, you cannot really profit from understanding the reaction. So no sell limit. If after a few touches of this level, if the candle, if the buyer can't really penetrate through this level, yes, we go in straight away with a sell.
I think you can be anything in order to change a world.
All right, guys. So a quick review on most of our trade today. Um, we've analyzed gold, we've analyzed Australian US dollar, we've analyzed UJ, and we've analyzed Swiss franc as well. Now, there's good news and bad news. Good news is we do spot a few potential trade. Okay, we do spot, all of the pairs that we spot have the potential to make profit. Okay, that is good news. And surprisingly, most of the trade is a bearish trade, which is most all of our trade that is potentially making us profit is going to be a sell trade. You see, it is most of it, and only US dollars, Swiss franc is a buy trade. Okay, and the bad news would be we gotta wait. Okay, the bad news is that we gotta wait. All right, because we need to see some reaction before we do execution. So right here, same thing as well. You gotta wait a while to let the market do its thing. Don't go in here. Okay, the real level that is gonna penetrate is here. Okay, this is the real level. And most of it is really potential high probability setup. At least four signals that can make us money. But right now, don't go in yet. Okay, so this one we missed the window. Yeah, that's probably it, guys. So Yep, thank you very much for investing 2 hours of your time. Apologize for the 30 minutes postpone of today's live stream. Um, yeah, well, welcome back. If you are from a Raya holiday, welcome back to RX. If you are from, if you're back to work today, I wish you have a really great week ahead. Um, a few updates about, what we are doing in RX. First thing would be we are currently building our podcast. So actually, you know, if uh, if you didn't watch yet, please watch it. You can subscribe our YouTube channel. Um, we do it on YouTube. We do it on Instagram as well. It's called the Inner Circle Podcast. So click on that one, and you can, feel free to really understand, the logic and reasoning behind, a trader's mindset through real conversation. Okay. And the next thing would be live stream is still going on every day. The only thing that I might have some changes is that I might went from, the morning session to the night session, but this one is to be confirmed. So if we really change it, the timetable from this session to night, I will let you guys know in the group. And last but not least, guys, if you feel that you want to learn more about trading, you want to understand more about retail trading, how did I actually use auction market theory to trade, feel free to contact Grace in our customer service to understand more, about what is all this about. How do I actually came up with all this hypothesis, right? So yeah, guys, thank you for spending 2 hours of your time together with me, and I'll see you again tomorrow. All right. So thanks, and I'll keep you guys updated for all this position. See ya.